What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we're going to talk about this James Gunn situation. If you're not familiar, which you should be, James Gunn was fired from the Walt Disney Company 2 days ago, after old tweets from his Twitter account started resurfacing where he was talking about touching little boys and making all these rape jokes and just a lot of effed up stuff, a lot of deep, dark stuff. I'm a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. Those are two of my favorite MCU movies. I hated to see James Gunn go, but, and there are a lot of people that are trying to defend this situation. That's your right. You have the right to defend whatever you want. That's all good. That's your thing. And I respect your right to defend whatever you are defending. I am not someone that gets offended easily. I am not someone that gets worked up and outraged over stuff. James Gunn deserved to be fired, 100%. And James Gunn needs to be investigated. I'm not saying he's guilty of anything, but there's probable cause to look into this guy's history. In my opinion, a normal functioning person, and I've already admitted we're all kind of effed up, we're all shitty people. A normal shitty person does not find it okay to joke about touching little kids, in my opinion. That's not normal behavior. That is effed up. That is some deep, dark stuff right there. Now, and it could be completely jokes on his end and completely innocent. And if that's the case, that's the case. But I personally feel that is way over the line. I just don't think that normalizing pedophilia is a sane thing to do. I think that it's really disturbing, and it really causes me to wonder if there's more to this story. And again, maybe there's not. I'm not accusing James Gunn of anything other than being a sick and perverted individual. And again, all human beings are perverted. This is beyond. This is really bad stuff. On the surface, do I feel people should be fired for tweets and old stuff from their past that they've said? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. But we live in a world where the SJWs have created this nonsense of you can't say anything offensive, and if you do, we're bringing the mob after you. And that's fine. You guys wanted the game? We can play the game. And now all of a sudden, now that it is affecting someone that you want to defend because they agree with your political ideology, suddenly now we can't fire people based on words. Suddenly the narrative changes because they have no consistency. My argument is if James Gunn should have his job, then so should Roseanne. And the fact that Roseanne lost her job means James Gunn should lose his job because the company has set a precedent. So now I expect the company to stand and hold the precedent that they have created. We don't see that very often these days. Luckily, we did get a case of equality with this James Gunn situation if you're comparing it to the Roseanne thing that happened just, a few months ago. We've seen situations in the past with Kurt Schilling at ESPN where he simply talked about disagreeing with the transgender bathroom law, and they fired him. Yet Jamel Hill of ESPN can call the president of the United States a white supremacist, and she still had a job. That is not equality. That is treating people differently. Either you're going to fire people for saying things offensive that might disagree with politics, or you're not. And the precedent was set with Roseanne. So once you set the precedent, I expect you to follow through regardless of the political ideology of the person in question. And luckily, Disney did that. Now, what is Disney's play in all this? This is a total PR move. Of course, Disney probably almost certainly knew about these tweets. This is something he talked about in 2012 where he apologized for them. I don't know why he didn't delete them at that point in time. That's a question you have to ask him. But Disney's playing the PR game. So I'm almost certain Disney knew about the tweets. They're not they're not being great people here. My question is, why did they react so swiftly at Comic-Con with one of their top tier directors? Like, James Gunn might be the top guy in the MCU outside of the Russo brothers. Guardians of the Galaxy, it succeeded because of him. There's no doubt about it. He's the reason Guardians of the Galaxy has been such a monumental success. And I love those movies. But the fact that Disney responded like this, it makes me wonder if there's more to the story. Maybe there's not, but it makes me wonder. So, if you're defending James Gunn, you have the right to defend James Gunn. But for me personally, I crossed the line at pedophilia jokes and normalizing pedophilia. I just don't find that to be something that should be accepted in any circles of life at all. That is my stance on it. I would never allow my kid around James Gunn based on what he says and what he finds to be normal conversation. It's really just disturbing that the people that went after Roseanne for a joke or something that they deemed offensive, they are defending James Gunn when there is a repeated pattern here of normalizing pedophilia. It really makes you wonder, what do these people really believe? Do they have a core belief system? Because I don't think they do. I really don't. And this is why they can't be taken seriously. Like, you want to play the outrage card on the internet when somebody says something because they don't agree with your politics. But the moment someone says something far worse and far more indefensible, you're ready to stand up for them because they're against Trump? My problem here is James Gunn has played this moral superiority bullshit for the past few years on Twitter. He's played the internet white knight. He's been so moral and so, I have the high ground and I hate Trump and Trump is so offensive and I'm such a great guy and you're a horrible person if you supported Trump, and just Mr. Moral Superiority. And then your past shows that no, you're not moral. You're not morally superior to anyone. You're a shitty, effed up person just like the rest of us. And if this fly doesn't get out of my room, I'm going to go crazy. It's going to be like the episode that Rian Johnson directed of Breaking Bad. But, so now the past has come up and it has bit him in his ass. And this is what happens when you preach to the high heavens and act like you're better than everyone else. When you're not. You're not. So stop that. Stop acting like it. It's just like me. I go back and look at anything I've said back in the day. I supported Obama. That makes my skin crawl that I supported Obama. But I did. Now I support Trump. And I couldn't stand George W. Bush back in the day. I couldn't stand him. Still don't. I've made a lot of offensive jokes in the past. I make a lot of offensive jokes today. I say a lot of things to my friends that I would never repeat here on the internet. But don't be surprised if you ever hear of me saying something, because I probably said it. Because that's how normal human beings work. We are flawed. We contradict ourselves all the time. We've said stuff in our past that does not consistently line up with our present. And we'll say things in our future that does not line up with our past again. Because that's a normal fucking human being. But James Gunn has played this game and played the internet white knight role. And now he's been exposed. So I do not feel sorry for James Gunn. I think he got exactly what was coming to him. And I don't think that you can defend his comments with a good conscience. But there are people out there doing it, and that's okay. That's their right. But I highly disagree with them. And you should not be allowed to make pedophilia jokes and normalize that behavior, because that is beyond disgusting. And for me to call it disgusting means it must be pretty bad, because I'm a hard guy to offend. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later.